and welcome back to another video. My name is Julie if you're new here, and today I'm going to show you 5 hockey romances that I read. I love hockey romances. They are probably one of the biggest groups of sports romances out there. There are a lot of football romances, but there are also a lot of hockey ones. That's why I have obviously read a lot of them. And so far I've been I would say, probably enjoying them more than football romances. I don't know why, it's just because the ones I read were better, I suppose. It's not that I prefer hockey over football or anything. I don't know anything really about hockey. I haven't been to a hockey game ever. And hockey isn't that popular in Germany as well, so it's not really my sport. We are more a football country. I mean soccer, by the way, not American football. But anyway, I do enjoy the books and I do enjoy reading about hockey. There's just something about sports romance that always gets me. And that's why I'm going to show you 5 books that I read. First of all, we're going to start with one of the OGs of hockey romance, and for me that is Elle Kennedy. And specifically, I want to recommend The Chase by her. I think this is my favorite book by Elle Kennedy so far. I have read both of the Briar Hugh and the Off Campus series, and this one I liked probably the most, from what I remember. The story revolves around Summer Hayward DeLaurentis, a college student who wants to focus on her studies and avoid distractions because she's really struggling academically. And then she meets Colin Fitzgerald, also called Fitz, who is a charming hockey player. And they meet because he's friends with her brother, and Fitz and his friends just happen to have a free room in their house, and that's why she moves in with them and becomes their roommate. From the beginning, the sparks are flying between them, and Summer has a crush on him probably since they met, even though Colin isn't really Summer's type, and she also doesn't think he's interested in her. However, their relationship is complicated by the fact that Hunter Davenport, Colin's best friend, has a crush on Summer. But that also kind of makes Colin realize he has to go for it and make a move on her. And as Summer and Colin navigate their feelings for each other, they also have to deal with Hunter's interference. They also face the challenges of college life, including Colin's busy hockey schedule and Summer dealing with a very weird professor. But along the way, they learn to let go of their past and embrace their love for each other. I loved this book so much when I read it. I really liked the characters. I think they were very relatable, very well done. I loved the storyline, I loved the subplots, and it is a slow burn, which is really refreshing in sports romance. I don't read a lot of slow burn there. Usually they fall for each other instantly, and this book is just such a quick read. Elle Kennedy really has this writing style that makes you fly through the book. It's just a fun writing style. It feels like you're having a conversation with a friend or something like that. It's really accessible, and it always makes me want to keep going while I'm reading. So this is definitely a book you can binge read. I really like the way Elle Kennedy played with stereotypes in this book as well, because she uses stereotypes for her characters, but then you also realize that there's more to them than that as the book goes on, and that's just so cool, and the characters are adorable. So yes, I would really recommend this one. Next up we have another very fun read. It is Play to Win by Kelly Jameson. The main characters, Theo and Lacey, decide to help each other out with their problems after meeting at a bar and just get married at Vegas on a whim. So Theo is a former hockey player who had to stop playing because of an injury and now is the manager of a team, which is why he's also moving to California, where his complicated family also lives. When he celebrates leaving Vegas for his new job, at a bar, he meets Lacey. Lacey works at said bar, and she kind of gets in trouble because her brother is owing people money because of his gambling addiction, and the people he owes money to kind of come for her and try to get money from her, which she doesn't have because she's pretty much broke. She only works at this job as a waitress, and it's really hard for her to even afford rent. When Theo sees that, he defends her and kind of tells the guys that are coming for her to go away, but her boss at her job sees that and he isn't amused, and that's why she loses her job. So they keep partying that night. Theo invites her, and in that night they just decide to get married because, I don't know, they think it's a good idea. And the next morning Theo actually asks her to move to California with him so they can help each other out, because she can't really pay for a flat anymore. These people are coming for her and he needs someone he can take home with him because of his family. He needs someone to join him at family events because actually his ex-girlfriend is there because she is now in a relationship with his brother, which she cheated on him with. And that's why he kind of wants to show everyone, I'm doing good, I have this new girlfriend, and I'm basically over everything that has happened. This was such a fun start to the story and it really continued that way. I was actually expecting this to be so much more trashy because of the whole setup, the getting married on a whim and the storyline that is a bit unbelievable, but it was surprisingly good, and I think the pacing in this was really done well. I have no idea how the author managed to pull that off, but it worked for me. What I have to say though is that the actual sports part is missing in this, because it's not about an actual player. He is the manager of the team and not playing anymore. I found it really fun anyway to learn more about the analytical side of things, so there is hockey content in this. It's just more about like the strategic part and the numbers behind it. So if you're into that, go for it. But if you're expecting a lot of sports in this romance book, then it's probably not for you. As a romance novel though, it's very enjoyable. The next book is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This book is marketed as a TikTok sensation, so it probably is. And it's such a good book. I did not expect that from the cover and the title, but it was surprisingly deep and so sweet. Stacy is an ice skater and Nate is a hockey player, and they have to share their rink. And when Stacy's skating partner gets hurt, Nate has to step in for reasons. And I really loved how the main characters, Stacy and Nate, were portrayed. I loved their personalities and how they overcame the obstacles on their way. Their relationship is definitely developing slowly, but I like that so much. Even though there was an instant attraction there, they did not want to get in a relationship, especially Stacy, but their friendship turns into more, and it's just the cutest thing. I feel like this is the part that most people do not enjoy though, and that they complain about, is that it drags too much. Which I personally didn't feel at all, but that's just different taste in books. If your romance has to be moving really fast, then this isn't a book for you. But I still felt like the tension was there from the beginning, and that's always what's most important to me. And Nate was so supportive and protective of Stacy that it really made me fall in love with them as well. And if you like good communication in books, this one is it. There is no miscommunication trope in this, and the characters have in-depth conversations about their feelings, their relationship, and mental health as well. This book does not only focus on the romance though, there are subplots to this and I really enjoyed them. It deals with friendships in different ways. It's not just black and white, and that was really well done in the book, that the characters don't always make the right decisions, but they also don't get judged for it from each other. And that's something that I really value in a relationship and I value in romance books as well. And there's also a very cute found family trope in this. The way this hockey romance progressed was not formulaic at all, and I felt like it was a really fresh take on sports romance. It felt very unique. And I definitely understand the hype now. Another one of the OGs of hockey romance is Serena Bowen. If you look for hockey romances, you will sooner or later find one of her books. And the one that I read was Rookie Move. It tells the story of Leo, a young hockey player who returns to his hometown to play for the Brooklyn Bruisers. So this book is also set in Brooklyn. And Georgia, the team's new publicist. And also Leo's former teenage crush. They were a couple back in the day, but they separated. And at the beginning of the story, we don't really know why, and we only found out pretty late in the story. So that's this kind of secret that's between these two, and you as a reader don't know that. So if you don't enjoy that, I would say it goes on pretty long into the book. As Leo settles into his new role though, he finds himself drawn to Georgia again. Their chemistry is really undeniable. However, Georgia is hesitant to get involved with him again, and also to get involved with the player, obviously, as she has the strict no dating policy when it comes to players she represents, so that they try to keep things professional. As Leo and Georgia work together, they have to face their past and deal with the connection that they still have, and both of them have to face their mistakes and come to terms with what happened in the past. Meanwhile, Georgia has to navigate the challenges of her job and the complicated feelings that she has for Leo. And of course the pressure that comes with both of them working together. I did enjoy this book and it was a fun read. And I think Sabrina Bowen is obviously very good at writing these hockey romances. She knows what she's doing, she knows the topic. And I like a good second chance romance. But for me personally, I just really didn't like some of the characters in the book. Like her dad, for example, and the way he treated Leo. I just don't enjoy unfairness in books, and that is super personal, so don't be distracted by my opinion. And I personally also don't really enjoy communication issues, even though they were kind of justified in the book. It's not really something I like reading about, but I mentioned that before. It's still a very good sports romance, and I really like Leo's character. He's kind of the way that I like male characters to be written. He's strong, and at the same time he's caring and open-hearted. The fifth and last book on this list is Forbidden Puck by June Winters. This is a book that I just picked up randomly. I had never heard anything about it before, but I ended up enjoying it a lot. It's about Ella. Ella is an interior designer, and her brother Lance is a hockey player. He asked her to come over for the weekend to furnish his apartment that he lives in with his flatmate and teammate Ryan, who is also his best friend. Ella has just gone through a bad breakup, and therefore she says yes to getting away from home a bit. Ryan is very clear in the beginning that he wants to be nice to her, but he also wants to stay away from her otherwise, because there's this rule that you can't make out with any teammate's family member or something like that. The stakes in this are pretty high, because if he does break this rule, he will lose his contract and will be moved to another team, which might even ruin his career. And Ryan has to stay away from her because he actually is a bit of a playboy. That's also why the two of them ignore the instant chemistry that they have going on, but circumstances lead to them having to spend time with each other and enjoying it a little too much. This book was pretty cute, to be honest, and I really like the setting of this in the apartment building and also the descriptions of Boston. I don't know why, but in this book it really got me. I also have to say though that it's a pretty silly book that you really can't take seriously while you're reading it, because there's just so incredibly stupid drama. There's absolutely no depth to this, and the ending is just way over the top. But I still liked it. And somehow that's also what I expect when going into a sports romance. So I would also really recommend this if you're looking for a typical sports romance. So these were the 5 hockey romances that I want to recommend to you, and I hope you found a new one that you might want to check out. And I will definitely continue reading these hockey romances and also sports romances. So if you have any suggestions or recommendations, please leave them down below in the comments. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!